Hello, deal makers. It's a great day to make deals. And tonight, my special guest is someone who has made a lot of deals, in business, in real estate, and even the stock market. And although the title for this talk is the Millionaire Investor Mindset, I think, no, I don't know if he will confirm it later, but I think this should be the Billionaire Investor Mindset. So really, um, our guest is just really low profile, right? He's not really out there, but he's one of those quietly super rich men out there. And you're going to learn a lot this evening. If you are watching on the replay, then I would highly recommend that you stay all the way to the end so that you can maximize the learning for that we will get from tonight's guest. Now, if you have any questions, if you're joining us live or if you're watching on the replay and you have any questions, feel free to write them on the comment section below. All right, so let me introduce our guest. Our guest is a serial entrepreneur. He is the founder and CEO of City Dorms, and he's also has other investments, other businesses as well. He runs Wolfex. He invests in multi-unit apartments in the Makati area, and he is also a global stock market investor. And I'm very, very excited to have as my guest this evening, Mr. Randy Manaloto. Hi, Sir
Hello,
Randy.
hello. Good evening, Ronald, and good afternoon, good morning to everybody else around the world. It's a
Yeah.
pleasure to be here.
Yes, thank you, sir,
Just
for
a
taking
correction,
time.
maybe billions of cents, uh, but priceless blessings.
All
So
right, all right. Very humble pa rin talaga si sir. Okay, sir, we're really curious kasi this channel is really all about talking about investing, talking about business. Now, one of the things that was really hard for us last year was the pandemic. So it was hard to adjust to that. How did that impact you and your businesses?
I think everybody was caught off guard, uh, and so like almost everyone else here, we have to adjust our lives, our work, our lifestyles, the way we do things because of the pandemic. So it's although we are always anticipating these kinds of situation, it's only until it really happens that you really get to know and get to feel and get to to integrate, assimilate, cope up with all the challenges and the opportunities that is brought about by this hopefully once in a lifetime event.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah.
Also, in your career, di ba, you've met a lot of crises already, and but before getting into that, just curious because I know from your one of your past interviews, you started out with IBM, right? What was that your first job, and like how did you get into business?
Well, even before I went to school, because my our family is a family of entrepreneurs, and so we have our own little small store selling cement, and my relatives sell dry goods. So and on the side, some of my relatives also have their farms, so they bring in their products. So essentially, we're traders. So it's that background that made me um, probably build a foundation on entrepreneurial skills. It's really the exposure to what I see. The school background is just to help me formalize this understanding, the skills that you need to communicate, the skills you need to probably interpret in numerical ways, in logical ways, certain things, ways of the world, understanding the bits of idiosyncrasies that you see around. So that helped a lot. But I started doing that trading since I was like 5 years old. So that was the very start, and when I was in grade school to high school, I was involved in our real estate. We built apartments, so I was part of the real construction team. I get
Mhm.
exposed to the different works around the construction, and so growing up, I could see um, how we built our business because we actually started from scratch. So my
Right.
father used to be an employee, but because he could not afford probably giving us the best education if he just is stuck as an employee, so he had to have the strength to start his own business, and that's how he started. He started selling cement bags. So that's
Wow.
the history of that one. And so after college, um, I really intended to work first in the corporate world to have an
Mm.
experience regarding again how things are done
Yes.
professionally, and so we're able to uh, that background and that skills that I acquired helped me in running my future businesses. How I
Right.
see things, how I manage people, how I look at numbers, how I scale, how I select the business that I do. So everything just goes into place with that in mind.
Wow. Wow. What were your roles before in IBM? Were you involved in the highest level?
Uh, no, because I just came out from fresh from college. So we started with marketing. We were just marketing support. Where at that time, IBM is the monopoly of mainframes, and
Yes.
so if you work with IBM, it's like the company to be with. And so that's where actually I learned how to use the internet
Mhm.
as an opportunity. At that time, there was still no internet, but we were already using email. So that itself is like an eye opener. Um, Before, when I was in college, we're exposed to like batch, this punch
Yes.
card where you read, the 0001. But that's made by IBM, and and huge machines. And
Yes.
so we're able to do programs on that one, and at the same time we were able to see how it's operated and what the different applications are in the industries that use the machine, mostly at that time financial institutions and banks and stockbrokers, but also in big companies, big industrial companies that need to automate. And so that's actually we were on the cusp in the very early stage of information and data.
Yes. Yes.
That's how
Yes.
it started. So, and when I entered, it was a time that IBM introduced personal um, the PCs, the personal
PC.
computers.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
in
19.
partnership with Microsoft, right? And
Yes.
so they had a product that could compete uh, with Apple. At the time, Apple was the computer, but
Yeah.
it's so proprietary and so exclusively for geeks that it wasn't too applicable for the
Yes.
mass use like companies. It was
Yes.
actually IBM PC that actually introduced the Office and
Yep.
introduced all kinds of productivity tools to make it more practical
Oh,
in this world. Actually, they're the
yep.
ones who did that. So I'm just so honored to be part of the background of seeing the whole thing evolving. So
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
imagine how it went from there to here for now.
Yes,
So
yes. I still remember because at that time I was also studying GW Basic. I was in studying DOS, using DOS at that time.
wow.
So I remember that time. So, sir, so what you're saying is even though you're not, say you're not at the senior executive level, you really just observe how the business was being run,
Oh yeah,
and you
yes.
took what.
It's good because we're into marketing, so we sell the products, so we have to understand the products.
Mhm.
And then I was kasi I've been moving around the organization. First in the Philippines, and then I went to Europe. I was based in Amsterdam, and then after that, I was based in after 6 months, I was moved to New York to their headquarters in White Plains, and then after a year again, they moved me to the Asian headquarters in Japan. So different roles, different exposure, And so I was able to do a little of technical support. There was a time that I did the IT part of it. So
Uh,
um, before it was the before it was just PC, but we had to integrate PC with the mainframe. So we were
yes,
doing that even before the world started doing it. So they're the prime movers of all of this before it
yes, yes,
happened. So uh, unfortunately, IBM is just too big before that they were relying on the mainframes and the business and the big machines that they think that the PC is just a an add-on business for them, which was, but they
right,
sort of stopped evolving, unlike the others that continue to evolve and evolve. And now nobody, very few use the mainframes because everybody's
yes,
relying on data centers. They're relying on software as a business.
yes,
Before, IBM just selling software package deals, like
yes,
most other software companies. They then you have to pay them to upgrade and upgrade and upgrade. But now it's more on a subscription basis. So
yes, yes,
so it, there's so many things that had happened since then.
yes,
So
yes,
these things, this it's just so quick and so fast. You really have to be on top of what's really happening. Otherwise, you get stuck with obsolescence.
mm,
You
mm,
lose your relevance as such. So
yes,
in business, it's also the same. So in the things that I do, when I start a business, as I said, there are three considerations in mind: uh, the cost of doing it. When I say cost, it's not only the capital, but the manpower and the skills that you need. And then two, um, of course, is scalability. If I don't want to get stuck in that business, I need to have it scaled up so that I can move on. And then the third
yes,
one is exit options. So exit options can mean I can sell the business afterwards, or I can i- delegate it to a professional set of people and companies that will do it professionally for me, so can I just move away and just be a consultant on that business,
mhm.
or just to sell it altogether.
So that's how you're able to manage or run multiple businesses.
That's
But
correct. Correct.
yes, I'm curious, sir. What was your first business during? I guess I don't know what was your first business after IBM or even during IBM.
First business was I was in grade school. I was selling matchboxes.
Oh,
The
okay.
matchboxes. So that's
Yes,
my it's really trading. So even before as a kid, I already trade both matchbox model sets, model cars,
yes,
and
yep.
techs. You know, techs, the
Yes,
cards,
yes,
that
yes.
one. So that's how I learned. But it's just. But the real business that I started right after college, after I left IBM, um, was actually wow, marami ko rin dinaanan eh. But
Mm,
after I got back home, um, I took over a prawn farm in Negros. At the same time, I traded molasses, which is a byproduct of sugarcane milling.
yes, sir.
And then I was already doing stocks at that time. I was buying my stocks ever since my days in the US, because I benefit from the employee stock options of IBM.
Mm,
So that was an opportunity for me to also understand the different companies that we work with. And one of the companies that I bought early on was Microsoft, because they were the
mm,
partners of IBM. They were
yes,
the heart and soul, the software, the operating system.
yeah.
So yeah. So
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 you've held your Microsoft stock
yeah,
since then.
Microsoft and IBM, but yeah, but they're just then there was just small amounts because they're just part
Yeah,
of the employee stock options. But they have really
I see.
grown tremendously well over the years. But of course, because I'm also growing my businesses, I start accumulating other stocks as well. So
Yes, yes. But was it? You mentioned prawn farms, molasses trading, and you've gone into a lot of business. Were you always successful? Did it always go according to plan, or like what were some of I guess
Well,
the
there's many
failures that you
lessons
met?
there. Okay, um, this is what I told my first two employees when I put up my own separate funded business about 25 years ago. And I said, um, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we may still be together, but differently doing a separate business model. So we just have to believe on certain principles in mind, and integrity and values. We're good. So, for example, the prawn farms, they were profitable, but they're very very sensitive to the prawns are sensitive to diseases, and they're sensitive to climate change. At that time,
Oh,
Negros was already fully denuded, so any hard uh, any typhoons or just heavy thunderstorms, heavy rains, you get flooded already, and that could damage already the you can have a problem with overflow of water from the
yes.
rivers, the ponds. So we made money on that, but we decided later on that it's not sustainable long term.
Mhm.
So we were able to recoup our capital investments and made money,
Yes.
but we thought that long term, it was the property would be we would be more um, appropriate for certain other
Other
purposes other
uses.
than prawns, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
prawns can be very sensitive to diseases. So we converted them into fish ponds, and then part of it we converted back to sugarcane farm. And then we just,
Okay.
as because I have to move back to Manila, we just sold off the farms. We didn't lose any money in the transaction, but I just
Okay.
gained a little on the land itself with the increase.
Yes. Yes.
But at least I was able to make money on the business. Molasses
Yes.
trading again, your the sugar trading business, it depends on the subsidies of the
Demand.
US government plus the commodity prices. So after a
Yes.
while, it was okay, but the daily haggling of prices, it's not good for me. So
Yes. Yes.
uh, after after 5 years, I just sold off the business as well. So again, I dabble on different businesses, and if I think I can do it, as I told you, I have three categories in mind. If I think I cannot sustain it, then I'll just sell it or just move on to the next one.
Yes. Yes. Well, do you know, sir, how many businesses you tried before you got into like the big business that met all of these three criteria, and that no that has stayed with you for the longest time?
Very few and very small lang naman eh. So I wouldn't
Okay.
consider them as big businesses. Because I don't want, when I know that it's going to be a big business, then I really put more capital in, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
except the farm was a big one, but I had to sell it off. Um, the molasses was also a big business, is also a big one, and I sold it off. And I did a lot of small businesses here and there, trading, uh, uh, buy and sell, buy and develop properties, but these are like a small lot and house and lots in
Mhm.
the fringes of Metro Manila. So I consider them small. It's more of like practicing the skills of construction until I just decided to say, okay, I'm ready for the big one. And these big ones are doing the WOFIX trade show, the food show,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and then doing the apartment build, sell, and rent out. I s-
Yes.
I started doing that, and then um, e-commerce as well, buying and selling stuff online. Essentially, those are the big ones.
Yes. Yes. So, Gabi, you really so from what I can tell, you try to do small businesses, small deals, and a lot of them. and like whatever sticks, that's or whatever you think will be scalable in the future, that's what where you reinvest more.
Correct.
Okay, okay. So for those of you who are watching right now, if you have like questions for our guests, if you want to understand how Sir Randy's mind works, feel free to put that in the chat box. And also, please make sure to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. That helps the YouTube to share this video, to more people. And so, sir, I'm just curious. Um, when you like right now, technology has already moved a lot. So it's very, very different from when you started. Suppose lang that you have to start again. Uh, what would you do in today's environment?
Wow. So many. There are so many opportunities here. That's not yet physically present in the country, but has lots of opportunities. Um, Electrical vehicle is one of them. Um, Power generation through renewable energies, solar power, a battery. Um,
Mhm.
what else? Gosh, that's for industries, right?
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
for financial technology, probably online banking, personal online banking. Uh, Everything is done through the mobile, so that would be a great
Mhm.
opportunity for people to do. What else? Um,
Hey,
Entertainment. I
oh,
think
what kind of
entertainment.
entertainment, sir?
Gosh, anything and everything. Again, accessible mobile through the mobile internet. Uh,
uh,
as we evolve to an autonomous driving um, environment, we'll be having a lot of time more not on fuming against stupid drivers, but
yes.
rather to being entertained, doing
Okay.
something
Right.
inside the car other than just driving. So that will be an opportunity as well.
Okay.
So,
So,
gosh, arami. Sobra
um,
rami.
so like say for those who are thinking of going into business right now, you would recommend them to try out YouTube or TikTok and start their entertainment channels.
Yes. Well, for one, yeah. Um, it's a great way of gaining content, like what you're doing now. Um, it generates revenues, although not as predictable, but it can.
Yes.
Um, One example is a colleague of mine. For the longest time, he has a problem with this child who finished college, who just loves dabbling animation and nothing else. So for the last like 1 or 2 years, the kid is just struggling on how to make a living because uh, there were no companies that would like to get him as an animator. But he found his place in the sun by doing animation on YouTube. And I think the last 8 months, 9 months, he has gained more than 300,000 subscribers and
Wow.
earning so much money already. And so sometimes, you just have to love what you do and then seek an audience that will share the passion and then use a platform like YouTube or any any uh, any social media platform that could monetize what you love doing.
Right. Right. Grabe. Galing. Thank you, sir, for sharing that. Uh, who are who are like or what are the most important resources that have helped you, in say growing your business, growing your investments? It could be like tools or it could be people. Right?
Well, for people who don't like reading books like me, I like to read. I like to read articles, one pager. I like to listen to 2 minute to 5 minute videos. nothing
Mhm.
more. Probably at most my tolerance is 20 minutes by TED Talks.
Okay.
Uh, but you have to keep on educating yourself. You have to at least write every day. You have to write five highlights of what you learned. You have to continuously learn every day.
Wow.
So it could be sometimes when you watch a YouTube, then it will lead you to another YouTube related to what you're watching, or when you're reading an article and then there's a link of other ideas related to the article, then you just keep on doing that. Try to understand what's going on. They're probably that's the most important way to understand how you can most benefit from it. Try to always understand your point of view versus the point of view of what other people are doing, and see how you can work together. So that's how ideas get started, and
Right.
probably can be monetized as well. So uh, the things that I do, they are not all original ideas. The business that I do, they're not original ones, but I continue dabbling. I continue getting myself educated, attending seminars if I need to, or watch patiently at certain documentaries, or if I think a book is really worth reading, then I'll try to not read the whole book, just go to the summary and just see the highlights, and if it's really worth it, then read the book. So I do read books, maybe
Mhm.
one a month, but that's at most. But really more of reading articles, watching YouTube, but basta anything educational, not entertainment. All right.
Mhm.
So if I see that the hits is more than 1 million, then it's not something that will benefit me, because it's really more meant as an entertainment. That's my indicator.
Okay.
Okay. If it's
Okay.
only a few people who watch it because people think it's boring, but when you first five, actually first 10 to 20 seconds, uh, if the person talks makes sense, then I continue watching it.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any like favorite channels that you watch right now?
I subscribe to a lot in YouTube, not offhand, but and I also get mentors as well. So
Mm.
I talk to my fellow mentors. I talk to my professors of the new and the old. Um,
Mhm.
I have network of friends in the businesses that I consult when it comes to when I know that they're the experts in that. So it's really important to have also a good network to ask questions, decent questions. For example, like nifties. Now that's the in thing today, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, the art nifties. So I will ask a guy who's into crypto to discuss the concept of non-fungible tokens, right?
Mhm.
And I'll talk to another person who talks about art, collecting art, physical art. And then I'll talk to a third person to try to integrate the two, how it can be done. All
Mhm.
right, so that's how I will learn the business, and try to understand if it's a real one, if it's a fad, or if it's going to be uh, a trend in the
The
future, a
future.
secular
Oh,
trend in the future.
okay. Okay. But
And
since
my
you
answer
already mentioned,
and my answer to Nifty is blockchain is a trend, but I'm not
yes.
sure if Nifty is going to be there, because um, I find it still incomprehensible to capture moments and then digitize it and make money off it.
Yes.
Um, there's one sucker born every minute, so that's my mentality now. But yes, blockchain is going to be there, so there is a way to authenticate originality and the uniqueness of a certain product or certain
Yes.
item, but uh, I'm not sure if the
It's long
uh,
term. Yeah.
the concept of nifty in arts uh, m- can go beyond what it is today. I just can't
Okay.
understand why somebody will buy a digitized, pixelized kitten, crypto
Yes.
kitten for $600,000. So
Yes.
probably I'm a
I
boomer. But people call that people who can't understand. the latest things. When I talk to my kids, half the time I don't understand them because they talk Zoomer language and I talk Boomer language. So
Yes.
uh, um, it's still a continuous struggle.
But you
It
still make the effort to try to understand.
Yes, yes, definitely, because that's part of our future.
Right.
If you will reject this outright, you might have a hard time uh, probably evolving from what you have, who you are now. And we're not that way. Eh. As a business, we have to evolve, right?
Okay. Okay.
For example, is Wofex. The business really, the essence of the whole business is face-to-face transaction.
Yes.
Um, if you are sampling food, you're gonna do it virtually, right? You cannot
Yep.
smell the food, you cannot
Yep.
touch the food, you cannot taste the food. Okay, maybe visual is the only thing that you can see, but you can only do. But other than that, all the other senses are absent. And
Yes.
so with this pandemic, we have no choice but to pivot to virtual fairs, virtual conferences, webinars, and all the stuff. But having to do a hybrid will have to be the best solution for now. Meaning we have to mix the real with the virtual. So, for example, when we host food tasting, we still have to distribute the food to them, for them to
Yes.
taste, and then we look at each other in Zoom and say, "Okay, what's your feedback? How is this done?" Because in food tasting, you really still have to taste the food, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
that's a challenge. But in due time,
So
when
yeah.
pandemic's over, then probably. But it helps us understand that because we can do this now, we have opened ourselves up not to only physical presence of people. Now we can say,
Mm.
okay. Now in our conferences, we can also give option for those who cannot travel because, again, we're archipelagic in nature, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
And more than half the population are outside the island of Luzon.
Mm.
So instead of them flying to Manila just to do an event, and if our event is usually every August, which is typhoon season, it's still we still have options for them to join us virtually if they can do it in actual presence, face to face.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. And I guess just one final question, sir.
Okay.
Because it's already 30 minutes. I know that that's the only time that we set for. But I was really, really enjoying our talk. For those of you who are listening and you're wondering what is Sir Randy talking about, NFTs, NFTs, and all that, you can search for non-fungible tokens. So that's in the crypto space, and maybe we could talk about that, in the future. But what I really like about Sir Randy is, even up to now, even though he's already at this level, he already has like multiple investments, multiple big businesses. So he's still learning up to this day. And so, sir, I'm just curious, how are you? I guess this is not a regular question, right? How are you preparing your children, naman? Because they'll be inheriting, all of these. How are you preparing them to maybe successfully manage these in the future, or maybe try to forge their own path in the future?
Well, for one, we talk to them. We The nice thing about the pandemic is now we talk to them 3 times a day, at
Okay.
least 3 times a day during meals. Right before it's just dinner time, I make real time every dinner. So that's why when I have meetings before pandemic, usually I have meetings before dinner or after dinner. So
Mm.
so that I can join my kids, and it's because it was intentional that we get to talk to our kids and to expose them to what we're doing as well, so they will appreciate, even if it's alien to them. It's okay for as long as we keep on talking about same things all over and over again, about challenges in the business, on just typical life as it presents itself, because they talk about their classmates, they talk about their schools, their teachers, we talk about the employees, we talk about the businesses. We share anything and everything under the sun. So it's probably just be open to them, um, love them unconditionally, and then we don't. At least I don't pressure my kids to really perform well in school. Um, I'm okay with the I'm okay with a passing grade for as long as they learn from their mistakes and uh, have the integrity to know what's wrong and what's right. Then we that's good as go for us. But of course, the kids would want to aspire for better, uh, uh, to make themselves better, and you can see that because um, they aspire for schools that we were not even entertaining, courses that we were not even thinking of, things that they want to do. So we don't hamper them, we don't stop them, and then we just told them just one thing: whatever happens, love your country, love the Philippines. You may acquire your skills elsewhere, but in the end, when you do all of this, just make sure that it benefits also the country. So um, like both me and my wife we were working abroad, doing career wise, doing well in our careers, but decided to come home here and probably see what we can do better. And so that's why we put up different businesses, we generate jobs, we so many things there. When we put up WOFEX, it's the aspiration to make the food standards around the country better, because you just go to Manila, that's it, that's a prime place. And then when you go to provinces, you expect lesser quality, but because Wofex was able to penetrate the countryside already, we put up trade shows in the different parts of the country, so their skill levels of the chefs, the equipments that they use is the same as we offer our clients in Manila. So the development of the food industries in the Philippines, I think, was helped because of WOFEX. For our apartments and for our real estate properties, we're able to generate not only jobs by construction, by building the construction and doing the sustaining the business by apartment rentals, but it gives also convenience to our clients who don't have to travel 2 hours to and fro from their work and houses. Number two, it also makes the neighborhood nice. From a shanty, you build up a tall building. Like remember,
Yeah.
Ronald, when you sold us this old shanty place
Yes.
in Pagulayan
In
Street
Pagulayan Street.
in
Yes, sir.
Poblacion, and now it's a hotel. It's a
Yeah.
six-story, three-star hotel. Now serving OFW quarantine hotel. So we see positive changes slowly. For as long as we see that there are changes and that makes the community better, and and still makes money for us, then that's good enough for us, for me. And so
All
we
right.
teach that values to the kids as well. So
Awesome. Awesome. Yes, sir. Thank you very much for sharing all of that. Now, maybe just to summarize for the benefit of those who just tuned in, I really highly recommend that you rewatch the replay, right from the very beginning, because Sir Randy, shared a lot through this, short time that we have together. Like he shared his criteria for choosing a business, and deciding when he wants to go big in a business. He also shared how, he started small with many different things and just really let it all play out and figure out which one will really go big. And when it's time to go big, that's when he would reinvest. But I also like how he is continuously learning, keeping up with the changes all through this time, and how he's investing in businesses that make a huge impact in the community. So thank you very much, sir. And if you guys would like to catch Sir Randy, I make sure that you attend the next TRP, Think Rich Pinoy seminar. This will be on April 17th, and I'll be putting the details in the description section of this video, and I'll be updating you guys in the future of any updates on the next TRP seminar. But again, Thank you, Sir Randy, for sharing your knowledge, your time with us, and good luck to your business. More power to your family,
Thank
and
you.
all right. And see you, sir, at the next seminar.
Okay, see you. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. And with that, I hope you learned a lot, from this interview session, and I hope that it inspires you, encourages you to make deals. Start making small deals, even if you're just dabbling on a lot of these uh, different experiments. And then when something goes big, that's when you grab the opportunity, strike while the iron is hot, and then make it grow, because it's always a great day to make deals. Fail fast, fail small, fail quickly until you hit that big. All right. So with that, I hope that you like this interview session. Make sure to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel, to be notified of future topics, future interesting people that we will cover in this video. And I hope that all of your deals will push through. See you on our next video.